You are listening to Charting Wealth for Wednesday, the 18th of January, 2017. S&P 500 down for the day, 0.35%. What do we see occurring? Well, the market's currently in a confirmed up move on the weekly chart. That happened all the way back around the 23rd of November, but what has it been doing for the longest time? You go all the way back to around the 14th of December, and you've seen the market do what? Never go above that point. It has slidden sideways, and it has rolled over on our two-day chart after a day of big down, after 2 days of big down moves ending on the 30th of December. Saw the market peak up at the beginning of the year, but now it's starting to roll over, about to penetrate on the two-day chart, the weekly. In fact, it's almost moving through the weekly trend line. So looks like the market has softened substantially. Again, still in a confirmed up move on the weekly chart, so we're not calling a down trade. We were hoping to actually see the two-day chart crossover going up. It could still do that. And if indeed that happened after a pullback on the 2-hour chart, we might have an entry point, but that has not occurred. So again, is the market overall weakening? Is it about to roll over down hard? We'll just have to wait and see. The charts sure are showing us that there's nothing pushing this market up since all the way back in mid-December. So let's continue to watch, pay attention to what the charts tell us. Now, let's go to the Qs. Q. What do we see going on there? Down 0.30% for the day. Qs is different. It actually crossed over back around the 9th or so, well, actually that week ending prior of January, crossed over going up on the weekly chart, and we've seen some continued up movement, although when you look at where the market's topped out since the two-day charts on the 11th, it really has been sliding sideways, although we've been able to draw a trend line. We're currently in a confirmed up move on the two-day chart. Now, let's look a little bit closer and see just what's presented itself to us. Nothing yet on the 2-hour chart. The 2-hour chart backed up for us. We marked that with green vertical lines at 2 p.m. all the way back on the 11th of January. We've been waiting for it to rotate over to get enough energy to get us into an up trade on the Qs, the NASDAQ 100. Almost did that at 2 p.m. on the 13th, but folks, it never happened. Then rolled back over in the afternoon on Friday the 13th. Well, right at the end of the day, and then it took off down on Tuesday the 17th and slid sideways for the rest of the day, again down 0.30%. Now, if we see that 2-hour chart rotate over going up, we have confirmed up moves on the weekly and the 2-day chart, so we might be able to find an up trade. We just haven't had that happen yet. We're currently still in that backup. Will it happen? Folks, we don't know. We don't prognosticate and guess. We let the charts lead us. The charts tell us what to do. That's how you're a winner in this game, not a loser. Okay, let's continue to push through these charts. We're going back on our 2-day chart looking at TLT. What do we see going on? Crossed over going up on the 2-day chart back on the 27th of December. The 2-hour chart crossed over going up back on the 28th, and we've seen really just nice, steady climbing upwards on TLT since really started bounding up around the end of the year on the 30th on our 2-day chart, the 30th of December. So what's going on TLT? Well, our weekly chart has not yet crossed over. Even at the end of the last week, did not confirm a crossover. It's trying to cross over, and maybe toward the end of this week it will, and we can call a bottom in bonds as far as our weekly chart goes. Then we can see if indeed we're presented with any trades. We don't have that quite yet. Looking nice, but again, not confirmed until we close the candle out. So continuing to watch, want to see if bonds really are bottoming. That would be sweet, would it not? Lastly, we're going to look at gold. Oh, and by the way, bonds up 1.05% for the day. Gold up the biggest, 1.44%, bounding upwards. Gold, of course, crossed over on our 2-day chart back at the end of the year on the 30th of December. Now we're still in a confirmed down move on the weekly chart on gold, just like TLT, just like bonds. However, it's also crossing over, going up. So maybe we have a bottom in gold as well as bonds. We'll just have to see. We can't confirm it until the week's closed out, but that may be the case. So we'll be watching and waiting, looking for those things. So where are we right now? S&P 500 is not in play. Gold and bonds are not in play at this point. The only possibility is if we see a recovery on the 2-hour chart and we have a crossover going up after this backup to meet up the up moves on the weekly and the 2-day chart in the Qs and just pulling up the 2-hour chart. So if we see the 2-hour chart rotate over going up, that would be our trigger to get into an up move on the Qs. Don't know that that's going to occur, but that's where we are. Remember, we trend follow. We don't try to call tops. We don't try to call bottoms. What do? We call winners, my friend. Appreciate you being with us. Thanks so much for joining us. We always like having you join us. We love to hear from you at Charting Wealth. If you've not already signed up for and are receiving our newsletter, daggone it, you need to. All you got to do is go to Charting Wealth, put in your first name and your email address, and boom, we will start sending you our daily reviews each and every day. Extremely important for you to have. Let me give you a great Confucius quote that I found over the weekend. And this is something you should think about. It's that 10 minutes we ask you to spend with us every day. People always ask me, how long will it take until I can read these charts and make money? When can I stop practicing and actually make money? Well, here's what Confucius says. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. My friends, that is the key. Keep practicing every day, and before you know it, you will be mastering these charts. You will have developed your own trading method using the stuff we teach you and other things you learn along the way. You will find yourself with the keys to the kingdom when it comes to being able to trade in the market. But you got to practice. You got to put that time in. So again, listen to those words of Confucius. Continue to push along each and every day. It does not matter how fast you go, but what matters is that you do not stop. You just keep striving, and you will obtain that goal. If you appreciate what we do, we ask you to do 2 things for us. Go to iTunes, subscribe to our podcast there, give us a 5-star rating, say something nice about us. We so appreciate that. You guys have made us as high as number 6 in the world in stock market podcasts. Additionally, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to us there. Thank you so much, folks. God bless. Let us hear from you at chartingwealth.com.